Hey guys, it's Adriana here. Today I'm going to be discussing the Duchenne muscular dystrophy disorder, also known as DMD. And this is just a cool picture of the X chromosome that I found online. So DMD is one of the 9 types of muscular dystrophy disorders. It is inherited from the mother and it is mainly found in boys. It is extremely rare in girls. Basically, it is caused by a mutation in the DMD gene, which is when the missing protein dystrophy it's missing. Sorry. So it's basically when the protein dystrophy is missing from the DMD gene. Alright, so the age of onset is early childhood and it progresses with age. It's basically a muscle degeneration disorder. It's so like I said, it's the absence of the protein dystrophin. Dystrophin is a shock absorber for your muscles. So as the boys age, they lose more and more dystrophin from their muscles. And when you don't have that shock absorber, which allows you to run, jump, walk, change your clothes, feed yourself, these boys are disabled as they get older. So usually by the age of 10, these boys are in wheelchairs because they can no longer walk or run or get around. And so it first starts off in the lower body and progresses to the upper body. So I'm going to be discussing the story of Christopher. Christopher is a Long Island boy who was diagnosed at the age of 13 months. And so along with Christopher's parents and any other parent that has a son who has been diagnosed with DMD will tell you that the diagnosis of DMD is a death sentence because there is no cure for DMD. In Christopher's case, he's on ACE inhibitors and beta blockers for his heart. He's on these steroids that his mother has to order from Spain once a month. And so basically the life expectancy for a child with DMD is well into their teen years, with the right management and early diagnosing of it. However, as a parent, you are basically watching your son, die, which is very sad. So the DMD disorder is caused by a mutation in the DMD gene, and that's going to be found in chromosome XP21.2, and the mutation comes from the mother's gene. 1 in 3,500 boys are diagnosed with DMD. And even though it's carried from the mother's X chromosome, the mother does not have to be a carrier in order for these boys to end up with the mutation. There can be a freak mutation and the boy ends up with DMD and the mother is not a carrier. So, but it's mainly due from the mother being a carrier. And this just shows an image of where the DMD gene is and where the mutation would be. And this is just an image that I found on how DMD it's passed down. So here we have a mother who is a carrier, and here we have a father who is not a carrier and who doesn't have DMD. And they had 5 children. They had 4 boys, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a daughter. And 3 of the boys, the ones that are in red, have been affected by DMD. And then one of the boys has not been affected. And then there's a girl, however, they don't know if she's a carrier or not. And then this just shows you the progression with age. So here you have a 2-year-old boy who shows minimal to no symptoms, and as they get older, the symptoms just progress. And just look at the way he's standing and the curvature in his back, because there's little to no muscle function here, so he's not able to stand up straight, and leads to a wheelchair and so forth. And here we have two heroes for DMD. The one on the upper right corner is French neurologist Gianni Benjamin Amand Duchenne, which is where the Duchenne name comes from. He was the first person to ever describe DMD. And then the picture that disappeared down here was Mr. Louis Kunkel from Harvard. He was the first person to identify the actual gene for DMD in 1986, and soon after that he was able to identify the exact protein dystrophy that was causing the DMD. And so basically the doctors can diagnose DMD if they feel the need to. If your child goes in for their 3-year-old checkup and the doctor's like, well, he's not walking like these other boys, and they'll go through family history and whatnot, and he can decide to do a CK blood analysis. And basically CK stands for creatine kinase, and it's an enzyme that leaks from the muscles when the muscles are damaged. So if a 2 or 3-year-old boy has this in their blood, then the doctor would know, like, okay, we need to do some further research on this. And there's also genetic testing, and there's DNA testing that the women can go through if they believe they're a carrier, and so they can do that. And yeah. Alright, and so like I said, there's no cure for DMD. However, these families are able to manage the disorder with steroids, physical therapy. The sooner that these boys get started on physical therapy, the better. And as they age and the disease progresses, they will end up on cardiac and respiratory care as well. There's beta blockers, ACE inhibitors that go along with the steroids. And up until recently, these boys were not, their life expectancy was into their teens. But now, with the proper management, there's been these young men that are able to attend college, go to work, get married, and have kids, and they're surviving into their 30s, and some are even surviving into their 40s and 50s. And so it is inherited from the X chromosome that comes from the mother. However, the mother does not have to be a carrier in order for this mutation to happen. It can just be a freak mutation, and the boy ends up with DMD. And here we have my mega tree, and we have the chimp, the bonobo chimp, the gorilla, the human, the orangutan, the mangabey, macaque, and then we have, you can't see it because it's behind my head, but we have a cat and we have a rat. And so basically it starts off here, and at this point we all had the same genetic data, and so we have our ancestry here. And so along with this evolution period, we are here. And so as you can see, there's hardly any space in these lines, and it just shows you how close in genetics we are to these different species. We're further away over here. However, all of these species carry the DMD gene. So yeah, that's very interesting. Well, thanks again, guys. I can't wait to see everyone's video.